I'm making rosemary butter. I cut back my rosemary plant, which was very large, and I just cut it way back, and I'm going to put in the food processor the rosemary with the butter, and I'm using the truly grass-fed salted butter. And you put it through so that the rosemary pieces are smaller, and then I freeze it in log form, and then you can just slice off pieces when you want a little bit of rosemary flavor. Sometimes, you know, if I'm doing the pork chops or steak, after I saute, I will just put the rosemary butter on top and let that melt on the chop or the steak before serving. I'm not getting all the pieces off because I cut this yesterday, so some of them are wilted, but they're still very fragrant. And let's continue and check back in after I pulse all this together. So that's 1 stick of butter with the rosemary. So I'm going to see what the combination is after I pulse this to see how much, because I have a lot of rosemary. So let's check it out. Add another stick. And more rosemary. Added more butter and more rosemary. I think what I'm going to do with the rest of the rosemary, because I just won't use all that butter. Rosemary butter. I'm going to make rosemary oil. So here's what it looks like, and now I'm going to roll it into 2 logs and put in the freezer. Okay, so I'm going to use the cling wrap. That out. Take about half. Looks like about half. And I just use the plastic wrap to shape it. It doesn't have to be a perfect round log. It can just something so that you can cut it. You know, you can roll it round. Just like this. And then you just put it in the freezer. You have to loosen this so that, because the butter will get caught in the grooves, or will make grooves. So I just unwrap it, wrap it back up, so that when it's frozen, that plastic will come right off and won't be stuck inside the grooves. So that was 2 sticks of butter with rosemary. And I'm going to do rosemary oil next. I have a lot of rosemary, as you can see, and I didn't have an abundance of olive oil. I probably only had a cup left on hand. So I just put what I had left into this pot, filled it with the rosemary, mashing it down, and going to bring this to a simmer and then let it rest for about an hour in the warm oil. Strain this out, and I will have an infused rosemary oil, which will be really nice for, can think of a few things, as far as some salad dressing, to do some vegetable saute, potato saute. So that'll be a nice flavor. So we'll check back, we'll strain it and put it into a bottle. This is the rosemary oil after I simmered it, and I let it sit for the afternoon because I was busy doing stuff. And I'm going to pull all that rosemary out and put it in a strainer. Got the strainer set up here. And I'll put it in a bottle. olive oil is still dripping through, and I think I'm going to let that continue to drip. I'm just going to set it aside. And I'm going to pour this into the bottle for storage. I had to get a larger bottle if that first bottle was too small. So here it is. I have it in this jar. So we're grilling a ribeye tonight, and we got it from Top of the Hill Farm. I am just going to use salt and garlic powder and smoked paprika. And I have the rosemary butter I took out of the freezer. I unwrapped it. I cut a couple pieces that I'm going to put on the steak after it comes off of the grill. Let it rest. I have another piece here that I'm going to use for the mashed potatoes. That looks beautiful. So go ahead and slice it up.
Nice.
Oh, that looks beautiful. I did a rosemary mashed potatoes. No veg tonight because who cares?